at the end of the day, when your ops can get out anything, say anything about you, and you can't counteract it, it does hurt. It hurts because now you need more. Like you need more volunteers to now go. Now you got to counteract the lie.
Yeah.
So like the idea that we don't need money, like I would love, and I can't wait. It exists. As the future already exists, it already exists that we live in a world post big money in politics. We live in a world post authoritarian. It exists already, and as we build to it, right, we do have to recognize that, like, actually our people do need to have dollars so they can compete. It's not an evil thing.
No, absolutely.
We do need to actually run for office. It's not an evil thing.
Yeah.
We need to wield power. Power is neutral, right? Power is not inherently good or inherently evil. And there are like a few people in history who are like, power is to be wielded. I think when you talk about like democracy, if I just flip it on its head a little bit, like the fundamental thing about democracy is that it's government by the people.
Yeah.
Which means that our real job is not necessarily like a transactional thing. Mm-hmm. It's actually to be like the candidate in the perfect world. Candidates don't go to the people first. The people.
They are the people.
They are the people.
Exactly.
The people are like, this is our person. This is who we're sending you.
Yeah.
And because we are a person, like you represent them, you already know you're embedded. Now you stay with your folks. You stay on the ground.
It's not supposed to be a special class, like
it's not a special class of people.
Job. Yeah, it's supposed to be you're a teacher. And then you're representing your community.
You're representing your community. You can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes. Well, what's the qualifications for Congress?
Yeah.
People think that the qualification for Congress is lawyer, business owner. No, it's whatever lived experience you have. You are personal. You have personal expertise on all types of stuff.
Yeah.
You be convinced that we don't have it.
And I think I would go so far as to say, if you're a regular person experiencing financial struggle, trying to make ends meet, trying to pay for rent, you have the necessary qualities that many people in Congress no longer hold, especially after years and years of being a part of this machine. I've talked to a lot of politicians about this kind of stuff behind closed doors and private meetings and things like that and they just want to know how do we message? How do we message to the kids? How do we reach they don't really care as far as like what I try to explain to them, that it's not just about the platforms that you're on. It's about what you're saying, and it's about actually being an earnest defender.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
We don't have a message problem.
Yeah.
We have a message problem.
We do.
We don't have exclusively a message problem. We have a messenger problem.
Yes.
I've been talking to a lot of my colleagues too. I remember we were going back and forth in like a retreat. And everybody, after the election, they all bring in the polls. It's like the polls say this, the polls say that. Honestly, the polls always say this. I'm like, I told y'all that. I'm like, I already told y'all that. But like, so we're doing that. And then we're talking about, and they're like, well, what we need to do. I was like, no, we need people. You can say whatever you want to say. You can start cussing online, look cool. You can do all that. If that is you, then do it. But the problem is like, if you ain't never had to struggle to pay the rent, how are you going to relate to somebody who does? And a Congress person doesn't have to relate to every single person in their district. You don't.
Yeah.
But again, as the party of working class people, if you can't relate to working class, I had to talk to my colleagues like, there are so many of y'all who generationally have not experienced being of the poor.
Yeah.
I think most of us are working class, right? You don't own anything, you don't trade stocks. You're in a working class. You got to work for your living. You're in a working class. But a lot of people lose those roots. They're not there. That's why they're not talking to non-voters anymore. Yeah. That's why you got all these people who are only listening to consultants and hyper like attentive voters, like those voters who are like, I go to caucus, I go to the DNC.
What the abundance call the groups.
Yeah, they're talking to them all the time.
Yeah.
But they're not talking to real people. And then when they go and you go to the barber shop and you ain't been to the barber shop in years, you don't know what them brothers down there are dealing with in their real life. So how are you gonna relate to it? And that's the problem. Right now when we're talking about, we got colleagues who, and this is not a shot. We got folks who have been here for longer than I've been alive. Actually, they've been here longer than I've been alive, which means they've known various iterations of the Democratic Party, various iterations of the Republican Party, and now they have officially known a different iteration of the country itself. The country that they've known, that we've known, it does not exist anymore. We are in an authoritarian regime. Yeah. And there are too many people who are nostalgic for a time that will never exist again. Yeah. It cannot exist again.
Whenever they say, I want a strong Republican Party, the way things used to be, I'm like, no, I want no Republican Party.
I fell out of my chair. I'm like,
no, I want.
That's like saying I want a responsible plan. What?
I want no opposition. I want every.
I want a better world.
I want every seat to be filled with people who are going to center the working class in their politics, so that we don't have to have this like gridlock, this back and forth, within the current structure that exists.